Welcome everybody. I'm live streaming. We'll see how this goes. It might be too much effort for the Wi-Fi. It might be too much bandwidth. We'll see. This is my first time doing a double live streaming in YouTube and also Insight Timer. So I started the YouTube live stream a minute early just because I was sitting here and waiting. So however you're joining, if you're live here now on YouTube, say hello. I'm so happy to have you. If you're watching the replay, say hi in the comments. Let me know you're here. Let me know this is valuable for you, and it helps. It helps the channel. So in just a few more seconds, the Insight Timer community will be joining, which will make no real difference for anyone except me. So we will begin. Welcome everybody. I've got my essential oil here. One of my very favorites. If anybody has essential oils nearby, here's your opportunity to utilize them. So the way that you can do this, you take your dominant hand and you drop the oil, 1 or 2 drops from up here to keep this pure. And you don't want the lid touching either, into your non-dominant hand, and then you activate the oil with your warmth and energy. And then you inhale, you make like a tent. So this is one of my very favorites from Young Living, Divine Release. Just feel into the energy of that name, Divine Release. What would it feel like to have some divine release? And as a former drug addict, I want to get all of the goodness out of this energy. Hi Wendy, Kathy, Andrea, buenos dias. From Mexico, everybody. Wonderful to be here with you on this spectacular Sunday morning. It's a little chilly here. I'm also double live streaming on my YouTube channel. So in Asia, the internet is not very great. And there's been times where I've been able to do a double live streaming on 2 platforms. But yeah, I haven't done it in a very long time because of the internet. And yeah, so I've got amazing internet here. but this is my first time doing a double live stream in YouTube and Insight Timer at the same time. So far, so good. We'll see how that goes. Hi, Carolyn. Good morning. I don't know the temperature, Kathy. My mind is in Celsius. I've lived out of the US for so long. I don't know where you are. Maybe you're not in the US. But I'd say it's 18 degrees Celsius, maybe 20. And so that might be like 65. So yeah, it's amazing. The high here, so this is at 5,000 feet elevation. And so it gets hot, and we're getting into hot season. So today the high will probably be 90. And you know, it's like one of those like cool in the night because there's no humidity. Hot in the day. I love it. Ooh, thank you, Carolyn. Any other, there's an invitation if you care to accept, to share any other astrological insights. Feel free, or Carolyn or anybody. I know Carolyn is quite well versed in astrology and transits and things. So welcome, Bev. Okay, great. Rest, recuperation, restoration. What other intentions do you all have for today's session? Mine is divine release. You can share that in the comments if you'd like. Are there any other fellow Geminis besides me and Kathy? I love astrology, as many of you know. And actually, I was thinking about that before before the session today. Like, what's going on in the sky? Because it's freaking amazing for me personally right now. Whatever is going on, it feels so good. Venus direct. Yes, it was that double retrograde. That's right, in Mercury and Venus. My Venus is in Gemini. My Sun is conjunct Venus in Gemini. So my mother's birthday is tomorrow. She is an Aries, and she has an Aries stellium in the 4th house. So if y'all know astrology speak, you will understand the impact of that for me as her daughter. Hi, Jessica. Good morning. Nice to see you. Hello, Jeff. Yeah, things are just feeling more and more magical. And just on a personal note, I think some of it is me just settling deeper and deeper into my home here. And as somebody with a sun in the 9th house, Sun in Venus, and moon in Sagittarius in the 3rd house, you know, and I've been a nomad since 2013. So for me to really sink into a place that's called home, like, and call a place home, like even on a deeper level than I have before, like with Bali or really anywhere in Asia. So I've really come into this deep sense of like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I felt this before in this village that I live in, and I'm just allowing deeper and deeper, more and more, that to occur, and it feels really good. So hello, Drazel. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Oh, daughter and granddaughter Aries. Yeah, Kathy feeling like a nomad. You know, for a long while, and I've lived, like I said, in this village. I've lived here, maybe this is my fourth time living here since 2013, and I came 9 years ago for the first time, so I'm not new to this place at all. And, you know, in the 6 years that I was gone from the Western Hemisphere, I just was like, I feel like settling, but I don't feel like settling, and like I just feel like I'm just a nomad, and like a long-term nomad, not like moving every day or every month even. So yeah, Kathy, I invite you to just feel into that and feel into your heart, your inner guidance, your inner knowing, and let that guide you. Let that spark guide you. Hi, Nancy. Good morning. Got a number of people in Florida joining, or that have ties to Florida. I know I do as well. So we're going to dive in to our Sunday morning live. I still want to call it Saturday Night Live. Don't forget to follow me here on Insight Timer on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. If you care to give a donation, please do so here and anywhere. I also accept donations in other places. I know that's important to some of you because of Apple. Yeah, check out my meditations. I know a number of you have given reviews on my meditation tracks, and I appreciate that, and that helps them get more, you know, popularity and grow in the app. Yeah, so I also have a group here, Natalie's Healing Circle. Join that to stay tuned for updates. Isn't there anybody new here that wants to say hello? I'm Natalie, spiritual life coach and Reiki Master Teacher. It's interesting, I had a massage the other day with somebody was new for me, and I didn't really know much about them. And when I walked into the room, they were like, your energy is so powerful and beautiful, or something like that. And they were like, do you do any healing energy work? And I was like, oh, actually, I'm a Reiki Master Teacher. And they were like, oh, I'm a Reiki Master as well. It's like, oh, well, we're just seeing each other. That was a nice validation. This morning I was listening to a talk on YouTube of a near-death experience. Sometimes I'll listen to those. They're very grounding. Does anybody else enjoy hearing near-death experience stories? Yeah, and it just, you know, it's always for me a reminder of like reality and what's really going on. And yeah, this person's story was quite sad as far as their husband had taken his own life after a fight that she had with her husband on the phone, and then immediately after he did that. So she, you know, was in a terrible spot for a few years. And then anyway, you know, she died for 10 minutes. She was dead for 10 minutes, like no brain activity. Yeah, and then it's just always so just affirming and validating to hear these stories, and even stories with people, you know, that communicate with those that have passed, and how that shows up in people's lives. Because of course, you know, we miss people's physical presence, and that's part of being human, and we want to really honor that and allow ourselves to have that physical experience and all of the emotions, and also kind of like being grounded in both energies, of like, yes, the experience of grief and loss, and also the remembrance of the true reality. And, you know, of course, like, it's very layered, and everyone has to go through their own journey. As many of you know, I think probably one of the biggest grief experiences I've had is having a stillborn baby. You know, just like a traumatic loss experience, and I know many of you have had versions of that yourself. And I mean, it's just a journey. It's just a journey, and it's a process, and it takes what it takes. And yeah, and healing does happen. It does. So, and you know, when somebody's ready to like open to or ground into or allow in even more, you know, the spiritual aspect, then that's there, and we can't, you know, rush that process. Wendy, is it The Journey of Souls that you're reading? And does anybody else know that book, Journey of Souls? Ah, it's an amazing book. So, yeah, I mean, in speaking on this topic, if there's anybody here who wants to kind of open more into the you know, the total reality, not just this human limited experience, I definitely recommend Journey of Souls. It is the story of life between lives, and it's a hypnotherapist wrote it in the 70s or 80s now, or long ago. And just kind of like Brian Weiss. Does anybody know Brian Weiss? Many Lives, Many Masters. It's a similar story in that these people were both, you know, Brian Weiss is a medical doctor. The author of Journey of Souls is like a psychologist or something like that. And they both just inadvertently stumbled upon you know, when they took people into hypnosis, that they just started, you know, talking about things. You know, it's not like either of these people were like, let's go into past lives or life between lives. It just happened. And I know Brian Weiss was skeptical. I'm not sure how skeptical the other author was, but yeah, it just spontaneously occurred in hypnosis. People started talking about other lifetimes with Brian Weiss, and also Journey of Souls. In Journey of Souls, the difference is people would talk about a death experience and then what happened afterward, and like, so it's basically the moment of death until the moment of the next rebirth. That book covers that entire journey, which is a very interesting journey that this book gives so much detail about. And it was like validated with hundreds of people so once he kind of, you know, happened upon this, then he did start taking people into those times, and basically everybody had very similar experiences. So it was like everyone's saying the same thing, everyone's having the same experience, like with slight differences. But it was like there's this map of what happens, and it just helps, you know, like whatever helps. And if that's helpful to learn and take on those beliefs, great. If it's not helpful, don't force anything, but just whatever feels good to your soul, whatever feels soothing. So somebody needs to hear all this because it's coming out. And Drazel, so sorry for your loss as well, or losses. Yeah, so it's just so, for me, it's so affirming. It's so soothing. Just to know, like, this isn't my only incarnation. Comforting's a great word, Carolyn. You know, what was I listening to? Does anybody know Emmanuel, who was a being that was channeled in the 80s? So there was 2 books written and a bunch of talks. And so in Emmanuel's second book, I think it's called the Choice to Love or something. It, people ask about reincarnation, and it says, like, if you really got into it and knew all of it, it's like you've been your child's mother, whatever, you've been your grandparent's spouse, like everybody's just so we've been in all of these roles. Which in Bali, they totally believe in that, so much so when a baby is born, they have a special priest come when the baby's like, they're very structured in their beliefs and things, and when they do stuff, and they have a priest come like on day 11 of their birth or something and tell the family, like, oh, this is your blah 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 great grandmother or whatever, like, and they truly believe that. Yeah, so hi Friendly Pause, hi Amy. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So I feel like in our Reiki healing today, we will just really tune into the softness of the heart, and as I said, like, I just have this sense, and I also know some of you very personally as well, and know your stories, and I just have a sense, like, at least one person, maybe more, like, really is here to hear, like, these messages, about grief and loss, and for comforting, for soothing, for validation. I kind of feel like Spirit's wanting me to speak and say, your loved ones are still present and still here, still loving you, still connected. Yeah, that just really wants to be said. I haven't gone anywhere. Anytime you think of me, I'm here, I'm present. Yeah. Hi Sheila Pinar. Friendly pause locked out. I locked myself out of my house the other night, and thank God I was with somebody who was able to climb in and get my door open. Okay. Really? No way. Who else has been locked out of their house in like the past 3 days? Mine was on Thursday night. And what is that? What does it symbolize? For me, I was totally distracted because I was with somebody else and we were leaving the house and I was out of my routine. What do keys represent? Okay. So Michael Singer says today, oh, actually this card has been on my desk all week and I'm like, I'm not even shuffling. This is the one for our session. Enthusiasm, joy, and love. If you can feel that all the time, then who cares what happens outside? Enthusiasm, joy, and love. If you can feel that all the time, then who cares what happens outside? It's very true from the Singer perspective. And it is like this journey of our soul. It's about creation. Who are we creating ourselves to be? You know, this endless process, if we're talking about, you know, reincarnation, of just more and more expansion, more and more evolution, you know, creation. Why is my soul here? What delights my soul? And it might be sitting out in the sun having coffee in the morning, and it might be like starting an orphanage in Africa, like, right? I was in session with a client yesterday, and you know, they have a very successful career, and there's a sense of, you know, wanting fulfillment and purpose and meaning, and so, you know, we talked about that, and I always go back to the idea of, you know, if you're a street sweeper, be the best damn street sweeper in the world, or that you can be, right? So it's like, it's not about what we're doing, it's how we're doing it. It's our state of being and our energy, and we can apply that if we're a street sweeper. And also, too, if there's a heart call to start an orphanage in Africa, then also do that. And it doesn't have to be like mutually exclusive. It doesn't have to be, I can't be happy or fulfilled until I do that thing. It's a both and. And that's how it is with everything. You know, Abraham Hicks always talks about, you know, why do we want anything? Because we want to have the feeling that we get in the having. So give yourself that feeling now. And then it actually creates the thing happening faster. And even Michael Singer's quote, enthusiasm, joy, and love. Like, if you're feeling that all the time, then who cares about the outside? Or the outside will handle itself. So let's get a Sacred Rebels. And speaking of reincarnation, ancestry, generations, this image is so powerful for that. You know, we all came in with soul lessons and contracts and challenges. And even in Journey of Souls, it says that like we choose our ethnicity, we choose our gender, we choose where we will be incarnated into. You know, and it talks about soulmates, and of course we're all everyone's a soulmate, and you know, those special souls that we've had lifetimes with, you know, that there will be like a signal or like a clue or something, or like a valid, like a something that validates that you've met before. There's a story in that book about, it was a husband and wife, and she was wearing a certain necklace or something, like, and they were strangers, and he saw this necklace and instantly knew like this was, you know, his soulmate, or something, you know, drew him to her. So that's nice. It's nice, you know. And we all have soulmates for different reasons, you know. For some people are in our life for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime. And a soulmate doesn't have to be in our life for a lifetime. And a soulmate can be, it doesn't have to be romantic. There's somebody here that like really is in an emotional state that I feel like is about grief or loss or letting go. And I mean, grief can be letting go of a relationship, or letting go of a home, you know, or a person, you know, or a death. So I feel like somebody here is, just in a really tender space. So if this is you, it's validation. And if it's not you right now, then maybe if you felt that in the past, you know, this is coming up. Like, you can give that version of yourself lots of love and compassion right now. You can send. So there's this really powerful meditation in Insight Timer. Like, I've been on Insight Timer as a user for over 10 years now. It was one of the first meditations I saved and bookmarked, and I still go back to it. I share it with my clients. But it has this visualization in there where you like go back to a time in your past and you give yourself love. So for some of you, it might be doing that, like healing old wounds and past versions of yourself. And some of you, it might be active right now, like Bev is saying. So glad you're here. Yeah, it's just like this energy coming through, just super gentle. Just like as if you were, treat yourself as if you were a newborn baby. You know, how preciously we hold newborns, you know, how soft and how much presence and love and sacredness. So hold yourself in that way. I will also get a message from guides. Well, even more. It's already been happening, but we'll get another message with Work Your Light Oracle deck. You're welcome. Yeah, something is here for healing. Something is here for integration in your soul. Something is here for transmutation. I feel like we need to rename my live streams as like the boundary live stream. Like, it's always about boundaries. And that's so interesting, Drazel, that you say that as I'm pulling this card, boundaries, because that would be indicated in your situation. And maybe you've already done that, and that's what the grief is. And that's a wonderful example of another form of grief and letting go of, like, the idea of who we thought people were or what they were, especially when we assign roles. Eckhart Tolle, in his book A New Earth, that I would highly recommend, he talks about, role versus function. And when we are in roles like, parent or teacher or whatever, that, there's a loss of presence, because there's so many ideas in what a role is. Like, so family being a role, if you will. So we have expectations on that. And so it's about, like, it's part of healing, to let go of what you hoped would happen or how you hoped it would be, especially for us in dysfunctional upbringings. And I did this inner child meditation. I played it for y'all very recently. The what's his name? John Bradshaw. I know many of you were here when I played that, 5-minute clip from Oprah, where he guided everybody. And basically, it's about saying goodbye to your family of origin, and walking away, because we get to let go of that, because there's the wounded child inside that is still waiting for mother to show up in the way that she wanted, that she never did, or father, or whoever, and that we are the ones we've been waiting for. So we get to empower ourselves. We get to be our own parent and learn that process. I do that in my coaching often. And we do that, in the sessions, with validating our experience, because the part that's hurt is the wounded child. So, boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? And it could be boundaries, internal boundaries. So it may very well be the traditional external boundaries we know, and it could be internal boundaries of, like, I am no longer going to allow myself to follow the rumination and obsession of thinking about the person or situation. And having that intention, and then working with yourself when you notice that pattern occurring of, like, sweetie, you can just talk to yourself. I understand, and remember, we're not going to be doing that anymore. So it's very just loving and kind the way you can do that with yourself. So let's get a couple cards for light seers, more clarification. Yeah, I hear that, friendly pause. And you're not alone in that. I'm working with a client right now who that's a big part of why they're, they're suffering, because of thinking about health and anxiety and rumination. I saw this and I'm like, this again? I saw it as I was shuffling. I'm like, I don't want to see that one again because we always get that one. And then here it is at the bottom. So we've got 3 of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, and 4 of Cups. And then that Page of Wands at the bottom. So I'm feeling this is about looking forward, making plans for the future, and being careful not to get stuck into this. And if there's something that you're setting boundaries about, or you need to, if it's internal or external, of course your mind is going to be thinking about situations that aren't the way you want them, either just within yourself or with others. And it's like this message of, this is looking, I feel like this is looking forward, this is looking back. And then in the middle, we have this Knight of Pentacles, which is planting seeds that grow very slowly. So I feel like this is about like the next step, or the continued, it's always a next step, right, in your journey, where you want to really be intentional about what you want and why you want it and where you're going. And again, with that energy of, like, not with the energy of, I can't be happy until I reach the place or the thing, but being in this, like, beautiful forward momentum, getting on fire, getting lit up, getting inspired for how you want things to be. And just like detaching from the energy of the past. Like, look at all these hands coming in. It's like everybody wanting something from you. You get to lovingly just, set those boundaries for yourself. And like refocus, like, and not take too much effort in, like, why is this happening, or why did this happen? But at the same time, of course, like, being kind and gentle with yourself in this energy. Being really soft, gentle, kind, and like taking your little inner child by the hand and, okay, sweetie, yes, I know. Like, even her posture is kind of like a little kid, even though she's an adult. And see, the thing with this card is there's a full cup here. These cups are empty, and that's like what the focus is, but there's a full cup of love here that they are not focusing on. So look at what you do have, look at where you want to go, look at what you want to create, and just be really gentle with yourself. And this is what I help people with in my coaching, is like doing the inner work and the outer work. And then this Knight of Pentacles, you are planting seeds. With everything you do all the time, every thought you think is a seed. And this is not going to be you know, an overnight process. It's going to be a journey. And it's like, again, this balance of healing this past and not getting sucked into it to the best of your ability. And when you do, working with yourself to move out and moving into your future. And again, for some of you, like the earlier messages coming through about, you know, like reality being so much more than just this physical 3 dimensions. Yeah. Letting that soothe you. And just remembering that part of you. So I feel like this is like the wounded inner child, and this is like the wonder child. And John Bradshaw talks about that, like going from the wounded to the wonder child. You know, if you're having an experience in the moment that feels very emotional compared to what's going on outside, if it's hysterical, it's historical. So I was on the phone with another client yesterday who just got on the call and they were overwhelmed, and there was a situation happening at their house, and it was with a family member, and they were in the wounded child. They were very upset. They were angry. They were upset. They were overwhelmed. And I worked with them to ground them into the present moment in their body. We practiced deep self-compassion, allowance, and acceptance. And also like boundaries, because their mind wanted to talk about the story and go into, you know, the other person, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's not going to help somebody shift. You know, when we get into those states of overwhelm, into the wounded child, I mean, that was their wounded child was out, was very upset. And we even talked to that, you know. And you can do that, little Natalie. And so we soothed that part. And then I invited them. They had a pool, and I was like, I mean, get in the pool. It doesn't matter what temperature of the water is. Like, this will ground your body, you know. Just be with the emotions, be with the sensations. It's all okay. And so it's again, it's this reparenting, learning to work with ourselves when this comes up. And then we can start healing those parts so that we regain our wonder, our innocence, that spark. Okay, so we'll do a few minutes of Reiki and ancestral clearing. Yeah. This is exactly what I was just saying, giving an example of like coming out of this and remembering this. And actually the situation with that client I'm talking about was about there was boundaries that needed to be reinforced. So it's not easy, y'all. And, you know, I told them, I said, look, nobody can do this but you. Like, it's great. This is happening now when we're on a call, and I can work with you and guide you. And, you know, the next step is, like, you are the only one inside. So that's sort of the internal boundaries thing, and working with ourselves internally. So, and it's great to get support, of course. I totally believe in support. It's my purpose in life, is to support others. So, and it's like with the knowing that the support is about helping people to empower themselves and feel empowered and remember their power in a positive, you know, loving, sovereign way. Okay. So go ahead and close your eyes. If you'd like to take part in the Reiki and Ancestral Clearing, and I'll do some specific clearing on loss, grief, and the prayer I do always includes some of that. I'll do some other layers, as well as being empathetic, you know, codependency, boundaries, and all of that. So just allow the energy, allow your higher self to draw it in. Breathe directly into your heart center. Slowly, deeply activating and awakening the heart. And just feel the love of Source around you. Feel your ancestors. Feel your family, your soul family, your chosen family, your human family, your spirit family. I just feel so much of that around us now. And those of you that have experienced loss, I'm really feeling that those that have passed are here. And just allow yourself to be soothed. This energy is super powerful. Just let go, surrender, trust, and allow. And I want you to imagine there's a pink and green energy swirling in and around the heart. You may perceive it in your mind's eye as like a mist. And imagine this beautiful heart energy of love and healing, of the Anahata chakra, just expanding, opening, and going all throughout your body and your auric field, the field around the body. I'm seeing a vision of a window opening that had been closed for a long time. And it's like all musty. It was all musty in there with cobwebs and tons of dust, like so much dust that it would choke you to even breathe in that room. And the window is opening. To the light outside. And that there's all of these like blackbirds flying out. And it's so sunny outside. And the birds fly up into the heavens towards the sun, just representing anything that no longer serves. Anything in the heart that's been stored, that's been hidden, that's been suppressed, pushed down, any shadow energy or anything secret or hidden. It's like we're airing it all out. The sun is coming in. Fresh air is coming in. Just let all of that go. All of that energy going back to source to be blessed and transformed. And your spiritual team now, all of your guides and ancestors, angels, whatever it is for you, they're coming into this room that has now been opened deep in the recesses of the heart, and they're coming in with their cleaning supplies. With brooms and dustpans and mops and polishing cloths and rags. There's old boxes in there full of old resentments, old hurts that no longer serve you, that are ready to be released. And some of them are taking out all those old boxes. Maybe old files, file folders, file cabinets of old mentalities of everyone that has wronged you. And you now know that no longer serves you. And you're ready to let go. Not condoning behavior, but just letting go for your own peace. Because you've grown beyond it, and it's just time. It's time to let go, and you're ready, and you're doing it, and you're allowing this support. Continue to breathe into your chest, into your heart. Some of your spirit team are taking all of these old files and boxes. There's a huge fire outside. It's a violet. It's the violet flame. Saint Germain's energy. And you're watching as your spiritual team is putting all of those boxes into the flame, and they are being transformed, alchemized, incinerated, healed. Let go. And there are other rooms in the home of your heart where you do keep things that are important. So if there's a part of you that is like, I don't want to let go, there's a separate spot. And of course you want to keep the good things and the good memories and the good energies, and so there's other places for those things. But we're cleaning out this old, it's like a attic. No one's gone into it for a long time. It's time for spring cleaning. It's a perfect time of year. So now your spirit team has cleaned and cleared and cleansed this room of all the dust. It was like just so much dust. You couldn't even breathe. And now we've got our native shamanic member of the spiritual team coming in with their cleansing white sage and Palo Santo and all of those yummy cleansing rituals to clear the energy. And the window to this room will remain open. And let the sunlight in. And you may choose to put some new things in there, but it will be your choice. It will be an empowered choice, and it will be things, memories, ideas, mindsets, whatever it is that you are choosing to put in there out of your sovereignty, out of being proactive and taking action, not out of fear and survival. So thank your spiritual team for their support, and know that they never are not with you. They're never not here. And if you feel if you're feeling alone, then ask. Show me, come to me. And then they will come, make themselves known. You feel a lightness in your heart. You feel expansion in your auric field. And now I'll share the ancestral clearing prayer. Infinite Creator, all that you are. Thank you for being here, for loving us, for your presence. We humbly ask that you open, bless, expand, lead, guide, and direct us into your perfect light, love, and life, and always, completely, now and forever, please, and thank you. For everyone hearing my voice, all of our family members, relationships, ancestors, and their relationships through all relevant time, space, and dimension. For all hurts, wrongs, judgments, and burdens, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, and financial, through thought, word, or deed. For all suicide, incest, murder, rape, abortion, infidelity, and miscarriage, through thought, word, or deed. Please help us all forgive each other, forgive ourselves, forgive all people, and all people forgive us completely and totally. Please and thank you. For all times of loss, of letting go, of death, of abandonment, rejection, being left behind, or having to leave behind. All guilt, shame, fear, regret. Anywhere in the lineage where this occurred. Any survivor's guilt. Anywhere where you've given your power away, where you've allowed yourself to be engulfed, or done things you didn't want to do, where you've taken on others' energies. For all empathetic hurts and wrongs. For times you felt you weren't enough and tried to earn or learn your value in family relationships and life. And all of the meaning that was made about all of this. For all letdown in our lives and lineages. Please help us all forgive each other, forgive ourselves, forgive all people, and all people forgive us completely and totally, please and thank you. Please help us love and bless each other, love and bless ourselves, be at peace with each other and at peace with ourselves, please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it done. Thank you. Your spiritual teams are rejoicing, are celebrating you, celebrating today. You can come back to open eyes if you like. Thank you all. Hello, Marcy. Friendly pause. You're welcome. Yeah, it's interesting what Spirit wants to do. Sometimes I had no plan. I mean, I never have a plan, but that very powerful cleansing experience wanted to come through. Beautiful. So I invite everybody to drink a lot of water, ground yourself, and to be with yourself. So Andrea, if there's still emotionality and tenderness. Remember this beautiful card, softly, softly, the tender touch. So this is about us really being soft with ourselves, because look at the tears on her face. So give yourself space. Wow, awesome. That's great, Nancy. Planting seeds, Carolyn. Beautiful. Hello, Ray. All right, so I will be live same time next week. And I will stay tuned for me to schedule my 4-year Insight Timer Teacher anniversary this month. And I may add in, as my schedule allows, additional live streams during the week. I'm very busy in my coaching practice. If you want to be a part of that, send me a message. I do have a couple spots for new clients. And yeah, I'm just busier now. So in the past, I know I've had more time for live streams. It's all good. So, hi, Mark. Glad to see you and everybody. And thank you for joining me live on YouTube. And so if any of you do watch the replays, when I do a live on YouTube, it goes into like a separate tab on the YouTube channel that says live or something like that. And so that's where you'll find this. When I normally do it, I screen record, I upload a video, and then it's like just download it as a regular video. But when I do the lives, it's just shows up a little bit differently in a different place. So I'm so glad you joined as well and that you found it helpful. Drazel, thank you for joining. And if anybody is new, don't forget to follow me here and everywhere that I am. And if it was helpful, give a donation if you would like. And I will see you all next time. 111, 1 hour and 11 minutes. Bye-bye.